People are budgeting like never before, and honestly, it's one of the best trends to come out of the financial pressure everyone's been feeling lately because instead of pretending things aren't expensive anymore, people are finally adapting and taking control. And you can see it clearly in these videos where people are cutting back on eating out, skipping overpriced restaurants, cooking at home, and making intentional choices like shopping at Aldi instead of stores like Whole Foods where prices quietly drain your wallet without you realizing it. And this isn't about being cheap or depriving yourself. It's about being realistic and understanding that small decisions repeated every week matter more than one big financial move once a year because budgeting isn't flashy, but it works. And what stands out most is how people are actually setting goals now instead of just reacting to bills. Whether that's paying off debt, rebuilding savings, or just trying to make their paycheck last a full month without stress. And yes, it takes effort, it takes planning, and sometimes it means saying no to convenience. But the payoff is stability, peace of mind, and control, which is something a lot of people haven't felt in a long time. And while some still joke about budgeting being boring, these videos prove that discipline is becoming normal again. People are comparing prices, using lists, planning meals, and tracking where their money goes instead of wondering where it disappeared. And that mindset shift matters because once you realize you don't need everything immediately, you stop letting spending control your emotions. You start realizing that cooking at home doesn't mean giving up enjoyment, that shopping smarter doesn't mean lowering your standards, and that having a plan doesn't mean life is smaller. It means it's more intentional, and the reality is budgeting isn't a punishment, it's a skill, and the people learning it now are setting themselves up to handle whatever comes next far better than those who ignore it and hope things magically get cheaper. Check out some of these videos.
I'm going to go through a list of things that I refuse to spend money on. So if you don't know me, I am in $700,000 worth of debt and I am on a mission to pay some of that down. I've got a big long list of things that I refuse to spend money on. All right, number one, I refuse to go out to eat. This is something that I love to do, but I cannot make my financial goals and go out to eat. So we are a family of 5 and our grocery budget is $800 per month. And the only way that we stay on budget is by never going out to eat. I consider going out to eat if I go to work and forgot my lunch and have to go to the cafeteria. I consider going out to eat if I go to the grocery store and I run through the deli and buy some pre-made pasta salad. I consider it going out to eat if I'm at soccer games all day on Saturday and have to run through the drive-through at McDonald's to get everybody some food in their belly. So for instance, today I have a long class. I'm taking ACLS renewal class. I'm in a different city and I had no idea where I was going to eat lunch, but I brought a lunch regardless. I brought a little tray, I brought an apple, I brought an orange, I already ate it. I brought my lunch. I bring my lunch every single day to work. I bring my lunch if I know that I'm going to be gone. If my kids have soccer all day, I pack a picnic. It takes a little bit extra planning, but at this point in my life, I've got it down so well. Like I always have lunches ready to go. I have an entire dedicated freezer in my basement for work lunches like this, and I meal prep. This morning I was in a bit of a rush, so all I had time to do was a protein shake. This is one of those scoop and add some sort of liquid. Super easy, not necessarily like the healthiest option, but this is definitely not my go-to. This is only when I'm like in dire need of I have to have some sort of meal and I have zero time and nothing prepared. Number 2, I do not drink adult beverages. This is something that it has been a work in progress. So a couple years back, eliminated drinking from my life, and I can proudly say that it is out of my life completely. I joke and sort of tell people that I'm allergic because then I don't feel like I'm being condescending if I'm at an event where people are drinking and I say, oh no, I don't drink. I would just don't like making people feel uncomfortable. So I'll just say like, oh, I'm allergic. I get really, really sick, because it's true. But also this has been a goal that I've been working towards, and I've achieved it to live a sober life. And I don't spend money on adult drinks, and that saves an incredible amount of money. If you are in the same situation as me and are extremely budgeting, I would highly recommend totaling up that amount, what you spend on drinks, whether it's just going to the grocery store and picking up a bottle of something, or it is going to like a bar and running up a tab. Just keep track of how much you were saving, and even if you can just slowly start by cutting that like in half or shaving that off, like you will be surprised how easy it is and how good it is for your health and how much better you will feel by cutting that out completely. Number 3, things I refuse to spend money on. Along the same lines, pre-made drinks. I do not run through a coffee shop drive-through. I don't get coffee before work. I make my own at home every single time. I do not have, NA drinks at my house pre-made. don't have them. I used to, but since my financial goals are what they are, they don't have a place in my home right now. So things that I used to spend money on that I no longer do, bubbly waters, I loved them, but just can't do it. So we bought a soda maker thing. It was like $20 to $30. And we flavor it with like lemons, limes, citrus. Another thing I loved, coconut water. I love some ice cold coconut water, but can't do it. Can't stock that in my pantry with that. Kombucha, loved kombucha, but it is so insanely cheap and easy to make your own kombucha at home. So I no longer buy kombucha, bottled kombucha. Sodas. Now this is something that I never used to drink anyways, but it's something that we would sometimes like stock some like natural sodas for the kids, Izzy's. They would just go through them. Like we would even set hard limits. Okay, only get one a day. They'd still all three want to drink one per day. And it's pricey, even when you do buy bulk like at Costco. So those do not come into my home. They don't have a place with our financial goals being what they are. All right, I've got a big long list and I've only gotten through 3. So stick around, stay tuned. I will make a part 2, part 3, part 4 maybe. And let's talk about what are our absolute will not spend money on when you are on an extreme budget. And leave comments about what your like, nope, never will do it are.
Hello y'all, happy Saturday. If you are new, I started a new series about where I go to Aldi and I stick with a budget. And this week, because I don't get paid until Wednesday, which is kind of an awkward moment in the week to get paid, we are on an extreme budget this week. So I'm going to try to stick with $50 as my budget this week, just to get me through the rest of this weekend and then up until the day that I get paid. And we're gonna see how far I can stretch this $50. And hopefully I can actually save a little bit of money and be able to use it for gas or whatever it is. So let's go. Got the quarter. Okay, so it's a lot more packed than last time, but it's okay. Here we go. Cotton candy grapes. Let's do it. I didn't say everything I was getting was going to be healthy, okay? These are so good, and they're the knockoffs of the poppies. Let's catch up on a few things. The Fairlife dupes from last week. Okay, look, they taste like every other protein milk that you can get. I'm sorry, it was a flop. I love all these knockoffs and most everything that they have. It's just for that one specifically, it's a no for me. So we ended up getting splurges on the watermelon. I put back the ramen noodles because it ended up being the cups and my husband likes the packages, and that was just a sign for me that we didn't need to get it because we were trying to be healthy. I also got the cotton candy grapes, also a bit of a splurge, but kind of not, because I was supposed to get grapes for my lunches this week. I just wasn't supposed to get cotton candy ones, so they were a little bit more expensive. But everything that I got in total was $54.97. So we were over budget by $4.97. However, for everything that I need for the next 4 days, I'm okay with it.
Our budget goal this month is to cut our grocery bill as much as we can. We have had such a hard time doing this. Right now we spend around $1,000 a month on groceries. We want to cut it down to $800 a month this month. One of the big ways that I plan on doing this is to actually not go to Costco. Not buy a ton of things we don't need at Costco. Another thing is only buying for that week what we think we're actually going to eat that week. Not thinking, oh, I'm going to buy things ahead of time. Another is sticking to our meal plan. If I want to do this, I have to spend less than $200 per week at the grocery store. So that's my goal. I'm going to be sharing my grocery hauls so that I can stay accountable and follow along if you are interested in cutting your grocery bill too.
I'm broke because I only have $8 left in my checking account this week. Okay, but it's not as bad as it seems. It's part of my budgeting system. I get $50 a week to spend on whatever I want to spend. Sometimes that $50 goes towards 5 ice shaken espressos. Sometimes it means I am getting my nails done. It can mean whatever. But the point is I get $50 a week to do whatever I want with. It's not part of my savings plan. It's just discretionary spending. And if I use that $50 during the week, no questions asked, next week I get a fresh 50. If I don't, it rolls over into the next week. Want to save up for something that I'm not like really budgeting for, I need to like literally plan it out and be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna get Starbucks, I'm not gonna get X, Y, and Z because I want to buy this thing. And it works. You need to cap yourself. I'm not saying you can't have fun, and maybe your $50, maybe it's $100, maybe it's $20. It's just important to be intentional about it and make sure that we're not impulse purchasing every single time. This is a first world problem, but when we feel like we're constrained and we have no room to breathe and we have no room to do anything fun, I feel like it makes you overindulge. It's just like binge eating. Like when you restrict yourself, you just want more. This is like combating a spending binge. So I hope that helps.